How can we learn to live better? How can we avoid difficulties? How to increase our well-being? How can we improve our relationships with others? These are all questions that lie at the base of any attempt at self-improvement. This video is dedicated to personal development in all its forms. So I invite you to discover the principles that I consider the most important to improve your life. Let us start. Number 1. Free ourselves from unwanted thoughts that make us suffer. Many people suffer in silence, and that is why I make freeing unwanted thoughts the first principle of personal development. Indeed, these people are grappling with thoughts that make them suffer, thoughts that keep coming back, and that relate to subjects that can be very unpleasant and sometimes even disturbing. No need to say that such an experience is enough to sow doubt and leads to questioning oneself for bad reasons. It is not surprising that these contents in our mind can be a source of suffering, big and small. And these thoughts can become obsessive as we fight them, and they end up filling our daily lives with negative emotions. In this context, it is difficult to focus on your personal development. Yet, it is possible to understand the process through which these thoughts keep coming back to poison our lives, and backtracking to allow them to free our minds. This results in decreasing anxiety, suffering, and it creates a conducive state to improve our life. 2. Cultivate detachment. Buddhism teaches us to want what we have first, to be content with it. Without becoming a Buddhist, with detachment and letting go, if we want to acquire anything, we can first let go of our attachment to it. It seems paradoxical. We combine at the same time the intention to obtain what we want and the detachment to lose it. This is because we are always attached to what things mean to us. Thus, detachment lightens consciousness and nourishes freedom. We can get it all, we can lose it all. It helps us to detach ourselves and to see how much happiness lies above all in ourselves. 3. Our beliefs build our self-esteem. What we think about ourselves becomes absolutely true to ourselves, even if it is absolutely false. As a result, each of us has a responsibility for what we experience, the best and the worst. Since we have control over our thoughts, and our thoughts build our life experiences and emotions, we can change the way we think and speak to create new, more constructive experiences. For example, you might say to yourself, anyone can always help me, and not others are there to take advantage of me. Each of these beliefs will generate very different experiences and emotions. And what we believe becomes true for ourselves. 4. Find your way and your life goals. Each person can find their own path and goals to achieve in their life. Everyone has at least a unique talent and a personal way of expressing it. Each person still has abilities that allow them to do certain things better than others. But for every talent, there are also unique needs. And when those needs match the creative expression of your talent, that's what creates the spark that gives meaning to your life. A fundamental goal is therefore to discover who we really are. You also have to express your talent as often as possible when you find it, and direct your expression to also serve others. 5. We all have a core value. We all have equal intrinsic value, too, that no one can take away from us. Unfortunately, we rarely believe in this core value. For example, the person who is convinced that no one can appreciate him will have more experiences of rejection. The point, then, is to let go of destructive beliefs and see how absolutely lovable we are, which will help us to look around us with kindness. With such an outlook on life, you will find that people who already appreciate you will love you more and express your love more easily to others. 6. The gift, a prerequisite for abundance. The gift always accompanies the possibility of receiving, because human relations function according to a dynamic of reciprocity. So, since relationships are a state of continual exchange with others, ceasing to express openness and altruism is to prepare for conflict and loneliness. This is why the gift is also essential. It favors the continuity of this exchange and puts us in the most favorable conditions to receive. The more we give, the more we receive. And I'm not talking about the famous law of attraction here. I am talking about nurturing the cooperation that has built the foundations of human civilization since the dawn of time. To improve this area of your life, you can make the following decision: every time you connect with someone, give them something. This gift does not have to be material. The most valuable gifts are often intangible, such as affection, attention, compliments, recognition, encouragement, giving of time, etc. 7. Put love at the base of our actions. It is often difficult to put love at the center of our life and our actions. We don't have time, we are too overwhelmed, too stressed. Yet, love and kindness to ourselves and to others would make our life a lot easier. For example, if we try to control others, we are wasting our energy. To apply this principle, we must first accept, that is, we can make a commitment to people and circumstances as they present themselves to us. This openness is a form of love. Another important dimension of this love is responsibility. It means not to blame anyone for what happens to us. Since all problems contain solutions and opportunities, this responsibility helps us to transform each situation for the better. 8. We tend to reproduce the emotional environment we experienced when we were young. The influences of our childhood help us to know ourselves. They are neither good nor bad. We tend to treat ourselves like our parents did, and we often recreate the types of relationships we had with our parents. We criticize ourselves if our parents criticized us. We keep courage if our parents encouraged us. To clarify this trend in your life, think about your relationship with your boss, at work, or your relationship, for example. If the result of this test is negative, do not blame your parents. They did their best and couldn't teach you what they themselves didn't know. Be compassionate with your parents, and instead ask them to tell you about their childhood. In this way, you will better understand their beliefs, even if they are potentially destructive, and you will learn to free yourself from certain fears or overly rigid thoughts. 9. The greatest power we have is the present moment. All the experiences of our life flow from the times we have lived through our past thoughts and attitudes. Those times are over. What is important now is to choose what we think, do, and say in the present tense, especially through letting go and mindfulness. This power comes precisely from the fact that our present helps shape the events that we will experience tomorrow, next week, next month, and so on. So, are the thoughts you are having right now negative or positive? Do they help forge a future that will guarantee satisfaction and well-being? Even though we have harbored destructive thoughts for a long time, the past has no hold on our lives. All that matters is the present and the potential for positive change it holds. 10. The reality we face is made up of our thoughts, and we can change our thoughts. No matter what problems and hardships we will experience in our life, they are only the outward effects of our thoughts and inner life. For example, the self-criticism that leads to low self-esteem is just a negative thought about ourselves. When you say to yourself, "I have no value," that thought produces a cascade of consequences, including negative emotions like sadness and anger. Therefore, if you do without these kinds of thoughts, you cut short the destructive consequences that usually follow. In other words, if you change your thoughts for the better, your emotions will happily follow in the same direction. Thank you very much for watching.